Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Planning and Licensing Committee on Wednesday, the 2nd of April 2025. Duncan, do we have any apologies?
We have the standing apology from Councillor Bell that you'd like to record, and Councillor Williamson has also given her apologies.
Fair enough. Meeting management issues. We might change the order of the applications just to sort the officer's convenience, but we'll worry about that when we get to it. Minutes. Do we have the minutes of the 19th?
I'm afraid I needed to have a final look at them, so I've not put them online. You'll have those to the next meeting, okay?
So on that basis, there is no matters arising. Public question time. There are no members of the public. Active consultations. We do have active consultations. Duncan.
Right, okay. As you'll recall from the last meeting, Mike Eastwood from Cornwall Council's Open Spaces team got back to us regarding our objection to HAD 294, which is the making of a public path order, the Tren Creek pedestrian crossing. There were some changes, quite minor changes made, but the Cornwall Council were basically inviting us to withdraw our objection. A fortnight ago, councillors were somewhat concerned at some of the language in Mr. Eastwood's email, which seemed to be suggesting that if we could find ourselves liable for the cost of a public inquiry should we pursue our objection, and it was agreed that that we would go to the town clerk and ask his view on this, because obviously this committee didn't feel comfortable with saddling the new council with what could be a four-figure sum. Mr. Eastwood was able to extend the deadline, so we need to respond to him tomorrow regarding the objection and whether we are to withdraw it or not. I think you've got in front of you the Cornwall Council's response to the objection. I think I probably ought to bring up the actual map, hadn't I? Really?
Yes, I think the map is interesting as to what they're proposing.
Yeah. That was on his letter, wasn't it, if I remember correctly?
Yes, right down the bottom.
Yeah, just let me scroll down then. There we go. Okay, so yeah, so we've got the dotted line is the footpath to be created, and the filled line. One here is the piece that they wish to extinguish. Obviously, the crossing was moving from A over to D. I think that's correct.
The road crossing is stop being a road crossing and just become a pedestrian crossing.
Now we've had no word on the closing of the pedestrian. We know they want to do it.
Yeah.
We know they want to do it, but we've not had any word at all about the closing of the pedestrian crossing across the railway line there. Any more than we know when Tren Creek crossing is going to be closed to vehicles, and I assume have a pedestrian crossing there because that's the only way you're going to be able to get to the footpath. So I assume there's going to be, but there's been no indication from Network Rail as to when this is actually going to happen. I mean, we've just received a email, which is, I think you've all got, at least this time, and they're not threatening us with cost. This is a step in the right direction. They're now saying we're going to delay the closure of the pedestrian crossing across the railway line. But I haven't heard any plans whatsoever I think Network Rail would have to consult themselves, won't they? I don't know, Duncan, do they have to, does Network Rail?
But I'm really not certain. This is new ground for me.
I feel it's a
I'm
threat
really
to go.
not certain at all.
As threats go, it's not terribly impressive. I mean, this is all about their wish to sell that piece of land to Proud Park. I'm going to start off by saying I think Proud Park is a good business and I support it. I think what they do on planning is reprehensible because they do things without actually getting permission. What they appear to be saying now is the red line is the bit that they're not selling to Proud Park, and the very small bit at the point which is still closing is the bit they want to sell. So as a last gift from this council, they want to close the line and give this, and I personally, I think it's incredibly short-sighted because the fields opposite now have put in a bid to develop. We allocated the land as development land, not that we expected anybody to build on it, but just to make it, you know, have it available for sustainable drainage for the building that's coming. And they're selling this at economic land value as opposed to selling it at development land value. So I think it's an appalling decision. I think it's a very short-sighted decision. The question is, do we want to maintain our objection for this very small piece of land across Proud Park? Anybody got any views? All right, I'll start. I don't think we should. I think it's, for such a small bit of land, I don't like what's happened. I think it's very ill-advised, but I don't think we have enough really to object to it. I mean, I'm not convinced by this. We'll stop the closing of the crossing across the railway line because
they just put a gate across, can't they? I mean, it's just
yeah, but there's no for that. With my mic on, I would
Is
not.
that a proposal, or are you going to continue
I'm waiting to hear what
discussing?
everybody else says, but
I'll be guided by your thoughts, to be honest. Like you say, we always say have to pick our battles, don't we? And if that's one we won't win, you know, should we?
in my mind, that is still a small wildlife space, and that potentially, I mean, there isn't the official access to it, but by stopping that access to it, it means it won't have a chance. It's just going to be grubbed up and disappear.
can I just come in there? That's not strictly true, because they have done when they got their planning permission, which went through appeal, what the Cornwall Council planners had done had sort of said that bit of land is going to be preserved, so it's still going to be green and lovely. And then they're going to build, they're going to plant trees along where they're intending to put the car park. I mean, it's the most unsuitable land for a car park. I mean, it's so marshy. The idea of putting tarmac down is ridiculous. But anyway, they're going to plant trees so that along that border. So naturally, we all believe that Proud Park would never consider changing its planning permission and digging up those trees without actually asking for planning permission first.
What I was going to say, though, it'd be nice to still have access then, or create access into that space for the higher education for establishment around the corner to put nest boxes up and to enhance it, and it could monitor it as to what's going on as an educational resource. So I think it's a huge shame that they just can't put gates on either end of the crossing, and just have that little bit of access that can, if they are saying they're going to protect it. Otherwise, it's just going to. It'd be nice if it's a completely wild space. That's all. How they are so stubborn about just putting gates to stop people going over the railway line, whereas they can just have that little bit of footpath going.
Sorry, Sarah, the answer is obvious. They want to sell that land to Prow Park as economic land. Whereas I think it should stay as development land, and then it would stay probably in its natural form. But this is all about selling the land. And they do not want to have a right of access onto what will then be privately owned land. That's what this is all about.
So in that case then, if it's still under threat for development that it's going to be sold to Prow Park, then there's still that potential, then they're going to grab it up, and then that I'd still object to it then. That
Saying that Prow Park would grab it up without getting planning permission?
well,
No,
just going from previous behaviour.
Yeah, the problem is that you can't go into an objection saying we don't trust the so-and-sos to preserve the green, to fulfil the agreement they have made in their planning permission. That is the problem. And that is not, even with all the evidence, that is not a reason. We don't trust you.
But they haven't, have they put in for planning permission for that piece yet?
No, yes they have. The planning permission is the one that got through appeal. And when you look at the diagrams, they are maintaining what they call the wet woods, which is the top corner. So basically the wet woods are the top corner. The fact that they dug up the rest of the woods, which were also presumably wet, is irrelevant apparently. I don't know if you've actually read the appeal. It's a very interesting read. They are quite sympathetic. It's very long. It's quite sympathetic, I think, to the arguments raised, but basically they've come in and saying, but, you know, planning rules are planning rules, and, you know, this fulfills planning rules.
Can you just clarify what we're being asked?
We're being asked to agree to remove our objection. We don't have to agree. We're being asked to remove our objection to the little bit of, because the little bit of what's read is a compromise. It's still public access, isn't it, Duncan?
Yes.
So the bit in red, it was from the red to the line. They're basically saying, yeah, okay, we'll give on the first bit. It's the little bit of land from where the top point of the woods to the railway line is where they want us to, which is about, what, 10 yards, something like that?
So I suppose my next question is,
Because
Councillor Kenny, about should we be maybe making a note to open letter to Network Rail about the closing of the crossing, or is that?
I actually think that's a really good idea, because we've all heard that they're going to close the crossing, and we've all heard that when the NSR is open, that they're proposing to change the crossing for the vehicular access. And our assumption is, and I think we need to have confirmation, that they will maintain the pedestrian access so that people from Trent Creek can actually get to their footpath. Yeah. And we haven't actually, I've not heard that actually, so I think it's worth asking. Yeah, I think it's a really good suggestion.
Letter from us saying this is important to the community and we hope it's done as soon as possible.
We want some dates and we want some guarantee that pedestrian crossing, so that people of Trent Creek can get to the footpath.
Exactly.
can we do a subject to in them?
Sorry?
If you're going to remove your objection, can we do subject to?
I'm not sure what objections to actually work with
I
something.
don't think, I can't see
really.
a
We'd have to just
way in which you
parallel.
could do that.
Yeah.
Fine.
But I mean, we can certainly go back to Mr. Eastwood and find out what further information he knows in the first instance, and I can report back
Well,
with
actually,
that.
it's not Mr. Eastwood who's the one who's told us that
No.
if we contend to reject, it will stop the crossing being closed.
No,
So
okay.
maybe it's to Mr. Roach.
Maybe
we
it's
need
to
to go.
Mr. Roach then. Yeah, I mean,
So
I can happily go back to Mr. Roach and say, has he any more information? And we can report that back and then maybe think about writing to Network Rail on the strength of what we find out.
Yes, please.
I would like to,
Please.
quite like to write to Network
Yes.
Rail anyway. I think just to find, because we're all taking this as read as what's happening, but I've not seen anything official.
Timing point's important, even if it's happening. If it's not happening for 2 years or something, that's 2 years of residents can't cross, which would be
Well, it
ludicrous.
could be 6 months. I mean,
Exactly. If
it
it's
could be next month if the NSR
exactly,
actually
we just
opens.
don't know.
I mean,
So
The whole
at least to
thing
weigh in and encourage.
is a pickle because the Dutchy didn't contact Network Rail when they whole planned Nantsled and the whole development. They just assumed they could put a road across with a level crossing, and Network Rail went no. I mean, and that's the reason why they've got those monstrous, bridges, and it looks like a ski run over there at the moment. And so we are assuming they have been in contact with Network Rail, that they want to do this, and where is the time frame? So I think it's a really reasonable question to ask Network Rail as to, because I presume that they'll close that to traffic and open it and then they'll close the pedestrian crossing.
The pedestrian crossing, hopefully it is on someone's agenda to get that reopened as fast as possible, and I think our voice to encourage that at a minimum is useful, potentially.
So I'm going to make a proposal that we reluctantly withdraw our objection. But it's not exactly subject to, but we require more information as to when are they planning to close that? Because that's incredibly important to people. They love that.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
love that footpath. They look after it.
Right, as though two things, perhaps potentially in the reply from Duncan to Cornwall Council, we could be saying, whilst we withdraw our objection in a formal sense, we would very much like to know if they know when the crossing would be reopened, and we will also reach out to Network Rail to ask, and to let them know that it's a concern for the community, essentially, and we hope it's done as fast as possible.
I think the gate is still locked, the new path. I think that's still locked off. I was there last week and it wasn't open, I don't think.
If I write that to both Mr. Eastwood and Mr. Roach.
And would you...
Answer from Cornwall Council first, and then decide whether we're going to write. And I think you're quite right, we should write to Network Rail, but we want to get the information.
Even if they say 2 months, I would, summer's spring, summer people are out and about.
Could
So
be
we
next
want
week.
to encourage them that they really do make sure it is, if 2 months is, it doesn't get dragged out to 3 or 4 months or whatever.
So that is my proposal. So show of reluctant hands to withdraw our objection.
Live hands, please.
Is anybody want to maintain
I am
objection?
going to I'm going to take a principal stance on this, knowing that I'm going to lose the vote, but I don't want us to be unanimous. And for that reason, Duncan, if you could record the fact that we're not unanimous on this, simply just because I want to take a principal stance on it. Okay.
Four councillors who are, yep, thank you.
Is whether Councillor Fitter or Mr. Keast maintain their objections. So if there is a hearing, I would like to reserve, can we reserve the right to, if there is a hearing, because of other objections, that we would like to participate? Duncan's looking.
Yeah, that's my, I really don't know, look.
Yeah, well, we'll ask them. If we can ask them, say, we would expect to be invited to, if there is a hearing from other objectors, we would expect to be represented. Exactly. Right, okay.
Far too witty for a Wednesday evening.
Councillor, you're not here to enjoy yourself. Right, can we, I think we've gone on about that long enough. Is there any other active consultations?
No.
Hooray, right, okay, so the next thing on the, my red light keeps on going off, I'm not quite sure why. Have we any licensing applications?
Yeah, it's that time of year when we tend to get the distribution of free printed material applications. As you know, this doesn't necessarily just relate to bits of paper. A can from a soft drink company that has their branding on it is considered printed material. Newquay is the only place in the whole of Cornwall that has this particular bylaw. So we're very lucky to have the option to say yes or no to these things. We would need quite strong reasons to say no. But anyway, the Costa Coffee and CCEP, which is the Coca-Cola Euro Partnership, I think I've remembered that correctly, are looking to, during the Boardmasters Week, are looking to operate from 4th Street and Cliff Road, and they are looking to hand out cans of coffee.
Free?
Yep, this is free printed material. I mean, given...
In addition to the... In addition to the free samples, we're investigating the distribution of digital vouchers to encourage purchase post-sample.
Yeah. They mentioned digital vouchers, but of course a digital voucher isn't printed material. It's nice of them to have told us, but they didn't really need to include that in the application.
So it's just 4th Street and East and Cliff Road?
Yep. 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. So basically the 5 days that we're very busy. Given that the past couple of summers have seen so many of these companies coming here and just doing as they see fit, it's nice to actually be asked for a change.
Anybody got any problem with this?
Again, I think Duncan makes a great point that we've had other brands turn up in town and not get the required permission, which ends up with waste all over the road and things, whereas whether or not we like what Costa Coffee is looking at doing, at least they have followed the process of applying for a license to do this so that, you know, the town can plan and be more organised and tidy. And therefore, I would agree with your recommendation that perhaps we do approve. So I'm recommending that we approve on those grounds.
Is that what we're asked to do, or is it just not to make any objections?
Make no objections,
it's
yes.
much like most licensing, it's
Right.
whether we submit a representation
Yes, so
or
make
don't.
So are you
representation.
recommending that we don't make a
Yes.
representation? Is
Yes.
there a seconder for that? Right. I'm not sure actually the cold coffee in cans really appeals that much. So show of hands for no representation. That's everybody. Thank you.
If you remember, I think it was later last year. We had a letter, and I can't remember who the chap was who wrote to us, but licensing enforcement was mysteriously moved from public protection to regulatory services, and we had a nice and very positive letter from that gentleman, and this was in the wake of last year's so
if we could just remind them politely if they can book a date on the
I can drop him an informal, I don't mind
Yes,
dropping in
please.
an informal yeah.
Yeah.
That's your only licensing. Yeah, we've been slightly busy on the 5-day protocols and non-material amendments, and I think I've another non-material amendment to send out to you probably tomorrow, and I think that there's one that's floating around which went out today. They're looking for it's quite straightforward, but they're looking for a very quick turnaround with it.
There's one that's talking about
the Mount Wise one.
too slow. I mean,
Yeah.
can they answer that now? Or do you have to do it?
Well, it's not on the agenda, so so it was a little late to add it to the agenda. So, but if people could just pick that email up and get back to me. Oh, lovely. I'm not going to open my emails in a public meeting, but yeah, if you have done, you're brilliant. Thank you very much. 5-day protocols to ratify. 29 St George's Road, I had 6 councillors respond with a majority choosing to agree to disagree with the officer recommendation to approve, so you weren't totally won over. The land at the Hotel Bristol Narrowcliff, 5 councillors responded. You've all chosen to maintain your objection. This was to do with the fallback position of the Section 106 agreement. I have spoken to Stephen Kirby. He wasn't hugely surprised. He does appreciate where you're coming from,
So
but
is this
I
a
just need to.
Purdah Is this a Purdah thing that they can't, because it's so contentious, they can't make the decision, or is this again going to be a last gift from this current council to rubber stamp through?
I believe that the issue is that because the surgery is currently unable to move.
But
there were three planned blocks, and currently they are only it's looking possible. I don't know how likely, but possible.
I'm sorry,
that they will
Duncan,
only be able
I'm going to interrupt
Yeah,
there.
no, fine.
It was true at the time they got the planning permission. There was no guarantee that the surgery was going.
Yeah.
They overrode our objection on the basis they were going to provide houses in central Newquay. They're now saying we don't want to provide houses in central Newquay. So my question is this going to be a last gift? So are they just going to rubber stamp it through? Or does the fact that we have objected mean that it's got to go to the next council?
To be fair, I think that's an unfair phrase. The words, well, it's an unfair phrasing to pose to an officer. So I think because it's politically laden.
Can we do it more tactfully? Can they make a decision in the light of our objection during Purdah?
I'm not aware of any reason why not, and there is no, as we know, there is no guarantee that a town council objection results in an item being heard at Central Sub-Area Planning Committee.
No, it depends on the Cornwall councillor.
It really does depend on the Cornwall councillor.
So if the Cornwall councillor is changing, let's face it, the Cornwall councillor is changing. Doesn't matter what the result of the election is, the Cornwall councillor is changing. Should they be taking that? Should they be passing that at this time? And that is the question I'm asking. And I might not, probably not for the minutes, but I would certainly be saying this on the doorstep.
Because in truth, they never took any notice of the 700 objections on the portal, did they?
So my suggestion would be let's pose that question upwards, and I suppose our request to you, Duncan, is to can you ask that question? Is that right?
It should be the new Cornwall councillor who decides whether this gets carried forward.
I suppose if it's a 5-day protocol.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the gate might have already closed on this.
Yeah, I think they shouldn't have done, because we're still within the target date, are we not?
I can drop an email to Stephen Kirby and get his view on it.
You've already told him that we are objecting.
Yeah,
And he wasn't surprised.
and he wasn't surprised, no. But I'm not certain. I really don't know. I really don't know how this is affected by the pre-election period. I don't know.
I mean, the shocking thing is, isn't it, that of course it counts. Even though they're going to be holiday lets, they're all lumped together under the same planning application to finish off their 4,000 a year residential spaces, isn't it? And it's sort of, you know, they've got a vested interest from top down to push it through from central government. So
The pressure when they
Originally,
rubber stamped this through.
no,
No,
it
that wasn't the so. I mean,
No.
But effectively, the reason for overriding the neighbourhood plan was given that we
Yeah.
were providing housing
And they're not doing that.
within Newquay, and all they're doing is, you know, they're providing a bit of money
Yeah,
to be sent somewhere other than Newquay.
yes, which can go anywhere, goes in a pot.
Anyway, there's no point. I think we've.
So fine.
I think
Yeah.
we've made our opinion clear.
Indeed you have. You're right. So as I say, 5 councillors responded, all choosing to maintain their objection to the PA 240695 Hotel Bristol, and then you've a non-material amendment which was Trebelsau Farm, and that was changing the set-up time from 21 days to 23 days, and I had 4 of you respond. You agreed to raise no objection to that one. So I just need a proposer and a seconder to say that the process was followed.
Right. Thank you, Duncan. I think we're now on to planning applications, and I think it is appropriate, because Louise has very kindly stepped in, and you've got some extra information for us, Louise, to bring forward the application, the 2 applications that are on the electronic signs. For some reason, I've gone into my mail as opposed to my agenda.
Which are the 2 last ones, isn't
The
it?
2 last ones. So I propose we
Yeah,
move those
second.
forward. Show of hands, yes, everyone's happy with that. So, Louise, are you going to present these to us?
I think Louise is in a position to answer the questions around this because she knows the background a lot better than I do. I'm going to, my intention was to show you what they look like.
Yes.
And so I might just pop a couple up on the screen now just so that you can see them, and then that might sort of spark some questions. Is that okay? You might not have any questions at all, in which case, Louise, have a lovely time.
Why do they need 2 applications?
One, I don't think that they initially applied for 2. I think initially, because the documents largely mimic each other.
Oh, I see.
One is an advertising consent, and one is for the actual physical objects themselves. Right, I'm just sorry, I just need to get rid of that one. And I was literally, there were a lot of documents involved in this, and I'm literally...
We had a presentation on these some time ago.
Yeah, so what we've got is, well, what I was hoping to show you was just some images of what these are actually going to look like. So this one, for instance, is, can you see it there? Is it clear enough?
Only just.
Let's make him a little, they chose a lovely day to do it. So yeah. So you
Never rains in Newquay.
This is what one of these, how do we describe them? Smart hubs with integrated digital screens. There are 12 locations across the town altogether. I don't know if you want to see all of them, but
It would be nice to know where they're going.
yeah. There's a location map, but it was just a nightmare to look at, to be honest, because they're so spread out, and I just felt that actually just show. They provided us with these nice images, so I thought we'd use those. So that's obviously the one by sort of near Central Square.
Railway station?
Us, no.
Oh no, Chester Road.
Was that one just
Well,
then?
this is part of the.
This is what we're looking at, as to where they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the one just before seemed very obstructive, sort of.
Can we start again so we...
I don't know if it helps, but they proposed a selection of locations and they came back to us and bid, and it was a topic of conversation which one would be the best
I see.
locations.
Thank you. Yeah, really
So it
helpful.
has
There you
been.
go.
No, it does help. Thank you. Thanks.
Where is it on this picture that we're looking at now?
Oh, there it is.
Car park entrance.
Yeah, it's fine. That makes sense. It was the one.
I know it's silly.
Bin.
But it's
So
Great
that's all.
spot.
That is on the public highway.
Are they attaching them to the lights, or is that just a...
Yeah, you get families and everything there. Yeah.
They have been in discussion with highways and will make sure that the.
okay, yeah.
The one I thought was a bit strange was the one in front of the Central Inn, which is just sort of there, sort of plonked in the middle of.
Well, the chap who runs the other, you know, that, what do you call it? You know, the sword throwing and all of that sort of thing. What's it called?
Yeah,
He
sure.
normally has his own, and there's a big rubbish bin that's always there as
Yes, yes, there is. But it just sort of, that's the central, sort of one of the sort of central hubs of the town. And kind of almost like, it's not quite, but it's almost like a town square at times.
But people can
Surely
see
it's a
it
good
there.
thing to have something like that in the town centre.
I mean, I would have loved it on the right where the stop sign thing is, but yeah, anyway.
That's, you come out of there. they don't
Yes,
drive out.
yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas
it's,
that is on
yeah.
the sort of where people are walking, so I don't think they're obstructing as much there.
Or up by the movie theatre or something,
I
but
suppose.
yeah.
Anyway, next one.
Hang on, before we go on from that one, people coming up Gover Lane, swinging round the corner,
Yeah.
it's got enough,
Yeah.
because people are going to be walking past that to get past it,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
it's a bit lethal getting on that. Then we've got the 4 uppy-downy bits, so I presume like large lorries come through here.
I think that's
Good
got to be
mornings.
highways, that's the highways decision, otherwise, I mean, Gover, they don't turn right, do they?
Go over lane and turn right to come out. There's plenty
Come
of
out.
room
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Well, they got
Yeah.
Crantock Street.
Where's
Can't
this
see
one?
that one.
Oh, let's see if we can guess where that
Where
one
is it?
Chester Road, to
No,
St.
Hemper Road.
Barnabas.
Yeah.
St. Barnabas.
Oh, yes, it's by Porthbean
Oh,
Road.
there,
So
that looks
where
good.
is it?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the
there
one.
Great.
by the post office.
Yeah, the Sunday.
By Quick.
Good to see.
By quick.
The garages are available.
Yes, so it is.
But although it's on the path, that's quite a wide path. so
Yeah,
it's not so bad.
exactly.
Yeah.
Good
Nicola?
spot. Very
Councillor
visible.
Kenny would say next.
Yep.
William Hoskin Road.
Oh, great. That's a good spot.
Right by McDonald's and everything and Power
Oh, well, it's
Park.
not going to
and-
make it any worse than it is at the
No,
moment, is it?
and it's on the green, not on a path. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's something to look at when we're queuing to get to Morrison's.
And it's a,
One
it's
by the train.
potentially there's a lot of really, a lot of local
over there outside.
information.
Outside Start,
No,
over here. There it is. Outside Start.
we would have our meetings.
Yeah, that is correct, yeah. We will be able to advertise agendas and council information on them.
And is the
Control around.
idea that you actually, there's free Wi-Fi on these things?
There is the
Wow.
functionality to do that, yeah.
I get, sorry, say it again?
There is, yeah, you can, there is functionality to do
Because it's
that, yeah.
interesting, because Wi-Fi is such a struggle in the centre of town, so I'm wondering whether they're
With 3G
going to
came,
make it
yeah,
even
exactly.
worse.
Yeah,
Anyway,
4G,
carry on.
yeah. That's a good point. No, it wouldn't make it worse. Wouldn't make it worse because Weird place.
Oh, it's there. Oh, there are lights there because there's the one we.
That one, I think even people in the car park are not going to know it's there. Why would we not just put it in the park where people actually go? People don't, I mean, I walk through there all the time and nobody walks there.
I think possibly because of the electrics.
Well,
Because what they did was they put electrics.
but there are
in.
a
Can I
lot more
finish?
people and I guess
just-
the park's not safe at night
Just
time.
finish. They put electrics in for the one-way street there. If you remember, they
Right.
had to dig up the road.
Okay,
and put the
for Atlantic
electrics in.
Road.
So I think what they're looking at is using the existing
Got
infrastructure.
you. But there is electrics
Will
right
this
in
be the one
thing.
that you use, Margaret?
All the time.
Yes, me too,
To
yeah.
be honest, I wouldn't want it on our land, I wouldn't want it on Newton Town Council land, because then with that, if it doesn't work, if it's not advertising, they come
People
back
come
to
to
Newton Town
us,
Council.
right.
So let it be on a highway that somebody else can deal
Got
with
it.
that.
Last one. There are 14 altogether, but 2 of them are outside. There's one in at Hendra, and there's one outside the Premier Inn at Quintal Downs. But obviously they're outside our remit.
Oh, I can see the bus. Oh, yes.
Great spot, yeah, really good. Bit noisy with all the traffic, but you can yell loudly to someone down the phone.
I have to say, really good. I
They
don't
not
think
put
they're
it-
intrusive.
Oh, sorry, in the park, in the car park.
Pay Tesco's, and it'd probably be very expensive.
And in truth, at Community and Tourism, we had talked about putting one outside here. We'd allotted money for it as a digital, and then we heard these were coming. So we put that on the back burner and thought, let somebody else pay for it. So it's it.
Innovation Company Limited. They've done this, well, Louise can tell you where they've done it.
They've done it in Ireland. They've done it in Ireland as well, so similar.
If they've done it in Ireland and it's worked, we're okay with that.
What sort of range does the Wi-Fi have?
I'm not 100% sure on the range of Wi-Fi, I have to say, but they do all have the element. They also, like I said, it will be able to link into the TIC as well, the TIC Visit Newquay website. So you can go in and tap in. They have like a screen, so you can go in and yeah, and find out information, informational boards as well as.
Tesco's, you go to TIC and you want to find Tesco's, they'll take you to the Tesco's site.
It's informational as well as.
It's happening now.
Can I ask, will there be any cost to us putting our... No, that's...
Wait, sorry, do you know if they have solar panels on their little roofs there?
Oh, I don't actually.
Is it too late for us to ask and encourage? or-
It isn't, but I don't believe. So. I believe that they are into the main sort of system. They are. Yeah, they're not. I don't think there is. I'm aware of. I don't.
Oh, you can do a mix of both.
I would like to propose we support, subject to Highways confirmation that these will not be blocking it's the public. The other thing's like they're all on pavements, aren't they? So subject to that they are not blocking the way for. But otherwise, I think they're fine.
Particularly the one at 4th Street, because that was the one that
specifically for we discussed the one at 4th Street. So we'd like some confirmation that the what's the word I'm looking for pavement? It's not pavement. It's the whatever. No, I should know what it will come to me at 3 o'clock in the morning. Is there a seconder for that? Is one of you? Sarah seconded. Show of hands to support that.
Sorry, Margaret, can I just ask a question before we carry on? Joanna, sorry.
Yeah.
We asked about installation costs. Margaret asked about installation costs. Are there any maintenance costs that are being incurred by the council? No.
I'm subject to there being absolutely no cost subject to the town council.
Yeah.
Have to get.
That's not really a planning matter, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I can't read it. Sorry.
So we can make phone calls from there.
May I ask? Would we be able to be sent this presentation, please, so we know what we've agreed to? Because we're putting our name behind something. It sounds as though they've sent us some information, but I didn't see it come to us on this committee. So just, I don't
Yeah,
mind
certainly. I mean,
supporting
it's
it,
sitting
but
on the register, but I'll happily
On the
email. I'll
register.
happily email this
I don't
design
know.
management document out to everybody.
Just for clarity as well, it has gone to Community and Tourism and they do support. This is where it's come from. No, I know, I'm just clarifying.
Stop the free-for-all. Sarah wants to ask a question.
Yeah, can I, Louise?
Oh, you're putting my mic off.
Oh, when mine comes on. When I put mine-
You've got control. Carry on.
Sorry. How vandalism proof are they?
So if they do get vandalised, we are able to report it and they come out and they cover the costs and they repair.
They repair.
So they make them vandal proof, but I mean, nothing's
And what
100%
sort
vandal
do they give a time frame for that? Where are they based? Because if they started off in Ireland, they're not.
So they do. They come within a matter of working days. They come
Okay.
very quickly and they will
Okay.
fix it, and it is on them to
Okay.
make
they're
that.
from Reading, aren't they?
Yeah. But I mean, if there's a maintenance guy that has to come down from Reading, you know, that's going to take days as opposed to.
Well, that's
Yeah.
not.
They do
Yeah.
work around as well. It's not that they don't have anything else down here. Just
Okay.
So this.
Yeah, this is just on the planning.
I don't know what register you mean. I'm in principle, I'm happy to support it, but I'd just really love to see what I'm supporting. If someone could please point me to where I can read the things I can't read there, please.
So So what they're basically saying is it okay?
Yeah, so you're talking about a backlit screen, basically.
What are they called? The pulse.
Are they? Sorry, another question. Are they 24 hours that they're going to be operating? There isn't a time
no, not that I'm aware of. No.
frame of. Okay. Do we have as to how bright the screen is? I'm just thinking if somebody's living opposite or adjacent to it, as to do they give a luminescence for how?
Looking at all the sites, the only one would probably be the Hember Road, but again, it's quick fit. That they're outside. They don't.
Most of it they're outside.
It's both sides.
Yeah, but they probably be outside.
I don't think any of them seem to be near accommodation.
Chester Road was by the bike rack, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Even though there's flats over the shops, I don't think they're.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. Yeah, I've got no
You
problem
can
with
say,
that.
you can, with the advertising consent, you can say, subject to confirmation from the officer that it won't harm the residential amenity of
In terms of
near neighbours.
Yeah.
Are you proposing that?
Yeah, I'm quite happy to propose that.
Is there a seconder? Margaret, show of hands to support the advertising consent. Are you going to?
I'm abstaining, as I said. I'd
I presume
appreciate somebody please sending me something so I
there's
know what I'm
nothing
would be
inappropriate
supporting.
advertised on that.
Well, that's something we can. I think
The advertising element is down to them. We don't have any control over
We
that.
have no control over that as
No.
to
if they have naked orgies, I think
Yes,
we can
services.
report it.
Yeah.
services
I
that
don't-
can be.
Yeah.
You put a large bucket over.
I mean, it's like any advertising campaign. We say you can have an advert and they come along and paste something up and it could be a naked orgy for all we know. So I think it's no difference. Okay, so can we leave that one? It's very interesting, but so we go back now to application 1. I know you volunteered. Well done.
Yeah, that's me.
15 St George's Road, PA 25/02073. What do you reckon?
Okay. Sorry, Duncan. Do you mind turning the lights? On? Yeah. Can you turn some light? I find it's getting a bit dark in here. Sorry.
Tell me what works for you.
Yeah. No, that's fine. If that's.
How's that?
Yeah.
Any more?
Yeah. So yeah, this is just proposed extensions and alterations. We'll wait for Duncan to catch up. That's fine. We'll talk amongst ourselves for tonight.
Closes millions
What a
of
glorious day
tabs
it's
that
been
we
today.
had open for this one.
Not much wind today. Yesterday was.
Oh, it was horrible yesterday, wasn't it? That wind. cold as well from the east.
So this is opposite, is this opposite St Michael's Road? Is that the one we've got?
Yeah. So if we have a quick look at the site plan, and we can see that it is opposite St Michael's Road. So car park here. No, not St Michael's Road. It's Ennis Road.
Oh, it's Ennis.
Yeah.
No.
It's the one down there. The previous
St
one we
Michael's
looked
at
at was
the top,
the
right, yes.
yeah. So Ennis Road. So existing plans and elevations. Here we have one of the classic versions of the houses here on the end, bay windows.
It's looking pretty like it needs some loving care and attention at the moment.
Yeah, some TLC. And then if we look at the proposed, because this is most of what's happening, it is sort of like skylights. Skylights at the front, and there's plenty of those on the roofs in St George's Road, thank you. And then putting in this the dormer at the back with a couple of windows in it, so they can expand the use into the attic. It's improving the access to bedroom 4 and improve the quality of space in the roof space. There was already a tiny little window in there for the bedroom upstairs, which looked wholly inadequate really for a bedroom, this tiny little skylight. So street view, if we can just have a quick look at the street view. There we go. So it's there by the alley. So there's going to be there's two skylights in the roof that are going to be there. And yeah, I mean you can see sort of like, there's a skylight in the roof there. So I mean there's not a huge change in the street scene at all. And this has gone through pre-planning, and the officer at the bottom of page 5 supports it in terms of what they're proposing, and I have no big issues with this.
The south elevation looks a little odd. I'm not sure which direction the south elevation goes.
Local of Kimberley Court.
Well, south elevation is the slice of the house, isn't it?
Is it matching something on next to it?
Yeah, because hang on. The south elevation is actually the slice through the building. We don't see the south elevation. That's why it probably looks a bit odd that it's a slice through the house. So that's it. That's the dormer at the back.
Ah, that's what that is.
And with the windows, yeah. So it's a side you never see because it's the internal side of the house.
Yeah. Okay.
So I propose that we support this. Really, I have
Anybody want to second that? Show of hands for support.
Yeah, straightforward one, isn't it?
No provisos or anything.
No.
Okay.
And I'll quote the neighbourhood plan.
Yes, well, we have a
H1.
policy that says we approve extensions unless they affect somebody else. Oh yeah, I mean.
It'd be on the west side. I mean, if you want to put a couple of solar panels on the back, on the flat roof, then.
Right. Okay.
Do you want me to include the G2 comment?
Yeah,
So
if you
seems to be
could.
what you're
Yeah,
saying.
please, thank
Just
you.
for good measure.
2 PA 25/01627, another householder, 40 Hillgrove Road. You haven't done this one. Duncan, over to you.
Yes, my 4 applications became 3 applications.
Yes.
their standard comment now, isn't it?
Sorry, Duncan. It's like, just harking back to application 1, I noticed that South West Water put in no surface water strategy details. This wasn't there when I did this, but they're not really increasing the roof area. So it's a bit odd that the South West Water have put that in for application 1. So I'm not that bothered that we refer to it, to tell you the truth. Sorry, yes, application 2.
More relevant with this one. So
Yeah.
yeah. So your location plan, just to show you the oh God, get that out of the way, can we? Oh, there we go. Just to show you the general plot size, you've got the semi-detached dwelling, and then you've got the outbuilding there. If we just go back to the street view quickly, you can see the garage is set quite far back. That's what's going to be the self-contained annex. Yeah, and you have a site plan that just to confirm the existing layout. Okay. So existing garage. And there's the rear garden, generous plot, and there's the semi-detached property. 2 elements to this application, which are the main dwelling, to which they are doing a porch extension, dormer additions and a rear extension, and then there's the garage conversion to the annex. We'll look at the main dwelling first. This is one of those exciting applications where I start with the floor plans first. I want to open that one. And just increase that. So that's your existing floor plan at the moment of the main dwelling, and that's your proposed. So if we look at the ground floor, which is the one on the left first, so that's the existing ground floor space. So it's showing effectively an area of infill here. They're also taking the building line backwards slightly to create what looks like an open plan habitable space. You've got a kitchen, a day room, a dining room with what are described as expansive folding doors that go out onto the deck terrace. You can also see I mentioned the porch. You can also see the addition of the porch at the front of the property there. First floor. The existing shows that there are already 3 bedrooms upstairs, that's quite impressive, really, given the roof shape. Let's just go back to that. So there's 3 bedrooms upstairs at the moment. The proposed shows that they're maximising the existing upstairs space. There remains 3 bedrooms at the new first floor level in this rear section of the property. Those rooms become much more generous in size and benefit variously from features such as ensuite bathrooms, walk-in wardrobes, etc. The proposal actually sees this property go from being a 5-bedroom to a 3-bedroom, because they are having all of the bedrooms upstairs and they are having no bedrooms downstairs. They have a study and a utility room and a snug and a lounge, so it's more habitable downstairs, bedrooms upstairs. So it goes from 5 beds to 3. Increased space is achieved through the rear extension. We'll have a look at what it's going to look like . So if we just go up, so at the top there, we can view that probably a little larger actually. At the top there, our street facing is the northwest elevation, so the one on the left there. If we look at the proposed, let's make that a little bigger. It's really the street elevation that we're interested in, isn't it, more than anything? That's your proposed west elevation. So let's just see if we can neatly flip between the two. Yeah, so that's your existing northwest elevation, street facing elevation, and that's your proposed. So it's quite a change in the appearance. So I say this isn't the first property along Hillgrove Road, towards the bottom of Hillgrove Road, that has got this. We've got street scene. I don't know whether it's going to show, because they're relatively, this house here now looks, I really quite like it actually, looks very, very different. And this one here is also following. There's a lot of dark coloured standing seam zinc finishes to them, and this is, the precedent is set, and this is really going to match those properties in a lot of ways. It's your application. Windows are just going to be looking at a roof. Yeah. So they're on this side here, and they're going to be looking in this direction. I don't.
Be looking down into that, because at the moment they've got the fence here, haven't they?
Oh, I don't know if we can really see if there's a. Well, there's an absolutely tiny skylight there that's shown there at the moment.
But there's windows on that side of the house, though. Are there with a fence in between the two properties?
Right, I understand. Windows on that southwest elevation at. So we are creating new views at first floor level.
Yeah. Can we?
It's going to affect his solar panels, but they've agreed to move them. Yeah, they've agreed to pay for the cost of moving them.
Okay. Are we happy to look at the annex? Yeah. So we don't. There's quite a lot going on here. Right. Garage conversion to annex. Right. There's a document all of its own. Right, we'll look at the elevations. So, as we said with the street view, that garage. You can find it. Yeah, I do, don't I? That garage is set quite far back. So. And that is what it looks like. I'll make that a little larger. So that's what it looks like at the moment. If you look across to the right-hand side of the screen, the garage door is replaced by a single door and window. Southwest is the one facing. I think we've established that's the sort of critical one, isn't it? The existing southwest elevation.
Can you move the screen over?
Yeah, I sure can. And the proposed, so there's no windows being added on that side. Yeah. The northeast, that opens up into the garden anyway. Mm-hmm. They are adding some. They're getting rid of the door and adding a couple of windows, but that opens onto the garden. And then the southeast, so looking backwards up the garden, is at the moment there's a door there that's getting replaced by a window. The design and access statement tells us this is to be a self-contained annex to accommodate the applicant's elderly father. That's the living space that he's going to be in. You've got hall, shower, living area with kitchenette and a bedroom at the back. That's the application.
Did you have a problem with the annex, Margaret?
I think you could have whether it's a bedroom or a living on a boundary wall, because that was a garage. So the garage is fine on a boundary wall. They're now going to have, you know, I thought there was some, I could be totally wrong, but I
don't believe so. I think that we were corrected in a comment from regarding Chester Road about boundary walls recently. In terms,
this is separate. This
I mean, it is going to be alongside a garage rather than a habitable
no, but the
area.
next bit is.
But I think that the main dwelling house sits, if you're looking at here in the grey area is number 42, it sits to the, as we're looking at it from above, to the right, the house does. So I don't think it would, I think there's clear space here.
Are there any windows looking into the neighbouring house?
No.
We don't wish this to become a separate address,
Yeah, it is just.
but effectively, as a genuine annex.
I'm surprised they haven't put a door into the garden for him.
Well, the bedroom's right up against the window at the back, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just got windows, but from the living space it could have had, or by the kitchen, that window could have been
No, apparently
a
not.
door and a window. Yeah, don't want him in the garden, heaven forbid.
So does any, I think he can go through the house.
It's able to come out and fall and step onto the terrace.
Oh, I suppose that he's got decking there, he's got, yeah, okay.
Right. Anybody got any problem with this? So I should propose support. So seconder? Sarah, show of hands for support. Subject to the annex condition and not being a separate.
And the southwest water, that they need to put in suitable drainage, and the G2 things about, please, as well.
And we note
Solar panels and things.
I would say we note the comments by the neighbour, and we would have a condition that what has been committed to with the neighbour is actually a part of a planning committee condition.
This is the solar panels.
Yes, and the gap.
Yeah.
We'll have to put the annex condition in.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
Right.
Let's do number 3 too.
Park.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't pick this one, Duncan. I'm so sorry.
That's
all
this is,
right.
this is PA 25/01793, retrospective application Joy. Oh, Trial
Change
Park.
the position, the shape and size of approved building.
What a surprise.
It's a new building.
Dated 2016.
Oh, really? I.e. the build. That's incredible, isn't it? I.e. the building that they've put bears no resemblance to their original planning application. I
Which
mean,
one?
even when they put one in, it bears no resemblance to.
Right.
I'll run through the background of this because it's a building with a story.
Of course.
Although, let's think, site allocations have given their comment is no comment as per usual. I'll show you the, I'll bring up the site location plan just to start us off, and there we go. So that's going to open.
Doesn't anybody check anything?
Yeah, so, oops, where are we? That's the site location. That's obviously the red line. It's the application site, the building. Yeah. It's this Holtz building. The background to this is, let's just go back to this. In 2010, permission was granted for the erection of 8 units for general light industrial use. There's your 8 units. In 2016, a retrospective permission was granted for amendments to that 2010 permission to change the position, shape and size of approved buildings. So this was approved, and then they applied retrospectively, so they never did build those 8, for something that looks like that, a single building. We now have another retrospective permission, this one seeking amendments to the 2016 permission, the single building, as the approved plans were not exactly what was built. So the approved size and shape appear to have been followed, but whilst the 2016 permission was for 2 units within the approved structure, the built structure was divided into 3 units. Not a huge problem, you wouldn't have thought. I think we can illustrate that very clearly. That is what that was approved, and the proposal you see is 3. So you've got an additional roller door, an additional door on the south elevation, small door on the south elevation. Yeah, you can see what they've done here. They've taken what was going to be 2 units and it's 3 units. The problem that they've got is that there's a condition applied to that 2016 permission that said the building hereby approved shall not be subdivided into more than 2 individual independent units and shall not at any time be occupied by more than 2 businesses. The reason was to prevent the creation of many small units which would give rise to additional vehicle and equipment movements which would increase the noise and disturbance arising from the site, and in accordance with the saved policy 37 of the Restore More Local Plan. So they really were told not to make 3 units, and they made 3 units. The DNA statement notes, however, that the NPPF, the most recent version, and the guidance both set out how conditions should be kept to a minimum. They should be necessary and relevant to the planning. The reason for condition was to limit noise on the site, the applicant says. The applicant then argues that an addition of 1 unit would not increase noise or disturbance to any material degree, especially when considering the existing level of trip rates and businesses on the site today. Over to you.
Reaction is to say, if you're told to only do 2 units and you build 3 units, then you are breaching that condition. And I'm afraid I just object. This is just when we did the appeal on the other one, I think we were running at 24 retrospective applications. Yeah. We must be on 26 or 27 now. I mean, I think this is just makes a mock. I think it makes a mockery of the planning process. Yeah. I don't think I'll get anywhere, but I'm going to propose we object.
Yeah.
Secretary, sorry.
Margaret.
Do you have hands to object?
Yeah.
I will just refer to the reason, and I am, if you don't mind, going to use your words makes a mockery of the planning process.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Like you say, we know what's going to happen, but.
Yeah, Glamis Road, PA 25/02072, single story extension with additional second story extension and first floor reconfiguration. Did you grab this one?
Yeah, I'm doing this one. Wait for Duncan to. So Glamis Road's the little road off Chester Road, and just catching up. So it's got no southwest water surface water strategy, so that needs going on. Okay, so yeah, it's just an extension at the back with first ground and first floor extension with internal alterations. So if we have a look at the site. That's right, there we go. So we're at the top of Glamis Road on the right-hand side going up the hill. If we have a look at the existing ground floor plan. Sorry. Yeah, existing ground floor plan.
I was suggesting she close the window.
Are the windows open?
That one is behind Kate.
Oh.
I just thought I'd put my jacket on. It's nice to have
Okay,
the
well,
air.
Kate's there with a jacket on as well. I think we could close the window. Right, existing floor plan. So, what's the area to keep an eye on? Oh, no, it's not huge. It's just keeping an eye on the top, the garden side. So this is the front of the house, and what's happening is really at the back, and I think in the garage here. From memory, because I look at these things a few days ago. Right, so then if we look at the proposed
Ground floor.
The proposed ground floor, yeah. So they're knocking out internally. Then they're knocking out the wall here, and they're putting this. They're extending. Sorry, this is the garden side. They're extending this very odd shape with a concertina door window to there to make this a dining room.
Is that the new thing they're proposing?
Yeah, this is sort of like yeah. So go back to the other one a minute. Sorry, Duncan. So here it is. So they're extending here with this odd shape, and then we go back again.
Between the two.
Yeah. And then they're extending then at the side here with the toilet and storeroom. So that's sort of, yeah, like going to the opticians, better with or without. Yeah, they're infilling there with this odd shaped room. I don't know.
There must be a reason for it.
Well, I don't know really why it's not flush straight across.
Maybe trying to protect the bay window. Is that a bay window on the right?
Oh, yeah, I know, but why it doesn't go straight across? I don't know.
If it does, it stops the view from the bay window. Where is this? Where's it looking?
At the back onto the sports field.
Yeah.
I think.
So it shouldn't affect the.
Well, is it the front of the house? It's not the front of the house, is it? No, it's the back. It is the back of the house. So it's overlooking the sports field. So yeah, nobody's really singing this. And then the garage is being converted at the side with. It proposed this sort of like this little bit at the side they're putting on as well. Yeah.
Do you see any problems with it?
I don't know. If we just have look at the street view. There we go. Oh, that was the one down the road. That's not it.
Oh, right, sorry.
Yeah, the street view of the house. That was the president's. That said that we've already got extensions over garages that are happening on Glamis Road anyway. The precedent's being set, but that's down the road. So you need to go up the road. Oh, did I send it twice? Oh, I'm sorry, Duncan.
This might be me pressing on the same thing twice.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Got it in the end.
So that's the front, and sort of like this is the garage here, which they're going to be developing. So with everything is sort of like happening back. So they've already got solar panels on this. There's no windows to the west upstairs that are going to be overlooking into that window at the side of their neighbours. There's no windows there. If we want a quick look at the existing east-west elevations. So, that is the balcony, isn't it? Yes, that's right. Sorry, I do these quite a few days ago, and I forget them. Right, yeah. So what they have got then, they're proposing is upstairs, is a balcony on the back. I presume perhaps they're rugby fans and want to watch the rugby on the playing field.
So the north elevation is the street facing, is it?
Yes. So this just shows the balcony then at one side. So this little extension that they're doing at the back, that odd-shaped room, above it's going to be a terrace with a balcony. Now, what it does, we need to make sure that we clarify, it's got then on the side here, I think it's got 1.8 metre high obscuring thing from the neighbour, because there's a window, basically the neighbour has a window here, and that is not 1.8 metres at the side. Whereas at the front, when we look at the other elevations, you'll see that it's got that level of glass barricades. So we need to make sure that, yes, please, that on the west elevation, that is 1.8 metres. I'm sure it says it's 1.8 metres there on the text, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, yeah.
It does. It's more like it's waist height.
And that's waist height because it's the same height then. So if we look then at the proposed north-south elevation, so this is, so that's the garage at the side of the house, which is going to have this extension put on it. And the solar panels will then all move round to the south side. They've already got solar panels on there. They'll move them round. And then you've got these concertina doors of that odd-shaped room, and then effectively this terrace above it from that they can access then from a bedroom.
Interestingly, that says 1.1.
And that's 1.1, which I presume that the architect was just lazy and didn't do it taller on the side. So that's it, really.
And can we make a proposal?
Can I just ask,
Oh,
are they
yeah.
losing the garage? Because parking looks limited in
Yes,
Glamis Road.
yes, it is, because the garage, sorry, if we go back to the proposed first floor plan,
I know there's parking on the road, but that's the quiet days.
They've got a forecourt, haven't they?
that's upstairs. No, it's not, it's downstairs. Hang on, yeah, this is where the garage.
This is the first floor.
Can
Yeah.
we see the street scene again?
So yes, they are losing the garage. If can you? Oh,
So there's room for 2 cars in that drive. Yeah.
yeah, they have 2 cars there. Yeah.
I'm guessing they don't actually. What's that grey thing?
A van or something like that.
It's got a tarpaulin
Like a
over
little
that.
caravan almost.
Caravan.
really.
So
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
not using the garage, are they?
No,
No,
the garage becomes a yeah.
it's a nightmare parking there.
Yeah. I mean, it's got they're making a utility room and a store where the garage is. But keeping the garage, they're keeping the garage door actually, but it won't be big enough to get a vehicle in.
I got congratulated the other day because I was using my garage. Saying, oh, you've got a garage, you're using it.
Yes.
Right, do you want to
okay.
make a proposal?
So I'm happy to support this. Yeah.
No problems with it?
Oh no, I mean apart from
Taking a note
Southwest
about
Water.
conditioning the 1.8 metre
Yeah.
on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think possibly something about the amenity of the neighbours as well.
Yeah, or maybe rather than support no objection then, because to check with the amenity of the neighbours, because they have got that window there, that balcony is going to be at that height, just round the corner, that they could be impacted by noise, and it's very close proximity to it.
Seconded for that.
And actually, thinking
Margaret
about
seconded.
it could obscure light into that window. So that's something for the planning officer
Yep.
to reject with that 1.8 metre high
Yeah. Hence the no
Yeah.
objection rather than a support.
Yes. Yeah.
Show of hands for no objection? That seems to be.
Point 1.8 metres is the point at which you do need
Yes.
to measure.
Yes.
0.8 is that's a,
I'm just wondering why.
maybe, yeah, I'm not.
It's because it's adjacent to a footpath, that's why you need to add for it.
Creation of a pergola to allow covered storage of wetsuits and surf equipment, summer only. Right.
Okay.
Duncan, is this one of yours?
Yeah, 75A. I think you can see that's quite nicely marked in there. 75A. The work is to this kind of front garden area. Have I got a street view for this? Yes. So, just turn around a little bit. So this is from 2020. So they want to replace and upgrade the fence and gate along the front of the property, which was damaged by storms. And then in this front garden area, so on the other side of that fence that you can see there, they want to put in place paving to replace the gravel chip. You can see they've got gravel chip in the front there, but they're going to put paving in the front with, it says, allowance to be made for drainage. And then they're also going to put a what they've described as a pergola. It's more of a store really, to allow covered storage of wetsuits and surf equipment, and that's kind of going in this corner here. So, sorry, just let me get rid of these ones. I should have done that a minute ago. So just a quick look at the site location, just because it gives you a nice nice view of the plot there in this interesting garden that seems to go into next doors. Yeah, the existing block plan doesn't add much to our understanding of it. This does, though. See, they've referred to the storm damage, and you can see that the fence has probably storm Dara, I expect, has wrecked it a little bit. So it looks like the replacement fence would appear to be in keeping with what was there previously. The proposed block plan, it's a shame because they've got some really nice drawings here, and then they've got this one, but that basically shows you where this proposed shelter is going to go. And then back to the 21st century, we have some lovely CGI images, fence, and well, what they've referred to sometimes as a pergola and sometimes as a store. That's obviously the street view.
What is the definition of a pergola?
I thought a pergola, and I am very open to being corrected on this. I thought a pergola was an open structure, more like, you know, sort of kind of uprights and cross bits. And this clearly isn't that. This is a store. I would suggest. So that's another view of it, seen from overhead. So they're creating this nice paved area, sort of delineating it with a bit of fence, and they've got their little store there, and then what they're calling the pergola view. They all wanted to print, didn't they? So yeah, that's effectively, I mean, it's more of a store than a pergola, I suspect.
Or has it got an overhang so that they can...
Yeah, it is solid roof. That's your application. So rebuilding storm damage fence, making the inside a bit nicer than just gravel, making it a bit more user friendly for the summer, and adding this store where they're going to put wetsuits and surfboards.
Got any problems with this one? Anybody want to make a recommendation?
Sorry, you mentioned the street view again.
Because the shed's going to be over.
Sorry, I said my
when I rated it.
Google Maps.
Oh, on Google Maps, yeah.
Street view.
So, are they taking down that wall?
No.
Wall, sorry.
No, they absolutely
They're
aren't.
basically not removing the
Sits on
stone
the...
wall.
If we
sits
look
behind the
at
fence.
that,
Then, yeah.
Some nice bedding plants.
yeah, so there you go. That's your front wall, still remains.
It looks like a different one, though, not the same one.
That's the, yeah, that's the CGI. There is
Okay.
nothing in this application that says that they're going to do anything to the
Do you
wall.
mind? I don't mind supporting, but on the grounds that we put a note that we believe that they're retaining the actual
We
current
wouldn't want
wall.
any damage to the wall.
Yes. So presuming that picture is, as you say, that it's just a CGI kind of thing.
So would you suggest no objection subject to
Yes,
a
thank you.
reassurance
Yes.
that the wall
Is retained.
is retained?
Yes, thank
Sounds all
you.
right. Are
Yeah.
you proposing that?
Yes, I'm happy to
I'll second
propose
that.
Thank you.
Show hands for support subject, oh, so no objections.
No.
Yes, yeah.
Subject to that.
Can we also add that it needs, because it's creating a hard surface there, it needs runoff, as can we suggest water butts on there, please, that it...
Yeah, I didn't look at it too closely. It did say allowance to be made for drainage, but we'll
Yeah.
Yeah, just to make sure that that is the case. Thank you, Dorothy.
Okay.
Right.
So that's no objection.
Yep.
Unanimously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go away, go away. Right, so that was application 6, PA 25/02080. Remove existing pitch roof structure and form a new third floor level to property. Well, I assume the compliance was the fact that they should stick to plans. Ah, Minerva Guest House. Now this is interesting because we were very anxious to preserve the look across the Killer Court.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they're planning to change the look across the Killer Court.
You might be pleasantly surprised by this, actually. So, yeah, the Minerva Guest House. I think I put a couple of views of it, actually. Oh, yeah, there's a longer view as well, so you could just see it more
great,
sort of from
thank
across
you.
the Killer Court. So it's obviously the one, the yellow-coloured building there. Yeah, much effort, I've written in my notes, much effort has gone into adding a new third level floor to the Minerva Guest House over the past few years.
Yeah, we looked at this, didn't we?
We certainly did, yeah.
They had a problem at the back.
Yeah, we haven't always been, we've actually supported it on occasions where Cornwall Council hasn't. So in 2020, the addition of a third floor was refused by Cornwall Council and dismissed at appeal. In 2021, the creation of a third floor was refused by Cornwall Council and dismissed at appeal. I think a big issue was some balconies that they wanted to add, if I remember rightly. Key issues were the appearance and the impact on the street, and there was also some issues with loss of privacy to neighbours. I think that was the balconies, if I remember rightly. The current application, well, 2023, the right balance was struck and was approved, and this application is seeking to change the plans It's actually, we are told, the reason is to reduce the extent of the approved proposals due to something called value engineering, which sounds like viability, to be honest.
It's cheaper.
And it's probably they found that the building would need so much money spending at it to achieve what they wanted to do. So yeah, so we ask ourselves, as always with these, what has changed? I've put my own, just to speed things along, I've cobbled together my own little thing here. So that's this was the approved third floor. So you can see it's there wasn't a third floor in place there. This is the front of the building on the left, so it was all to the rear. So there wasn't really, they got rid of that issue of impacting the street scene.
Originally it was up above, wasn't
it? It was, wasn't it? Yeah. So that's what they got permission for, and there's 5 bedrooms there. The proposal sees just this area here. So just this area is going to be the third floor. We're not shown the inside detail, but looking at that, looking at this one, that it looks like the area that accommodates bedroom 5 and bedroom 4. So I've done it again, haven't I? I would suggest that it's, rather than 5 bedrooms on this third floor, it's going to be 2 bedrooms.
It's going to be smaller.
It's going to be smaller, yeah.
So
No, because it's the creation of a whole new floor, so that's not just the internal, that is external. Yeah.
But it's not going to affect the review across the telecourt or anything.
It absolutely isn't.
So to make it smaller, I don't think you need to make a new order, so I totally support. Sarah, secondly, show of hands.
smaller. Okay.
Should there be no objection? Because we can't see anything. No one's
Yeah,
told us about any windows.
Oh, no, we can have a look at elevations if you want. They have to provide these, so.
We can't see what the, if there are still balconies or, I know.
No, there aren't balconies.
Look at the elevations.
They never got permission for the.
So the Killicourt facing front.
It's not changing.
Yeah.
The original application was stuck up above it, and that was turned down.
I think if there's it's a bit awkward because there's probably rushing through it.
No, it's clads horizontally.
It does look as if they've. I take what you're saying. It does look like they are pitching it slightly there. But yeah, that gives you a side view, an idea of how much they're reducing it by. And I think that box on the top, which is effectively what it is probably going to have 2 bedrooms in it, rather than the big box on the back, which would have had 5.
Lovely.
Application 7, we don't have to do. Yeah.
Why don't we have to do number 1?
No, don't ask.
Because the case officer has confirmed this consultation was sent out in error and does not require a response from the town council.
Let's get to wait in that case.
The case officer
me.
also wished our vice chair a happy birthday in his
Yes.
email as well, because he's lovely.
It's not your birthday today.
No, it was Monday.
Oh.
Yes.
So you
No,
must come
don't.
very close to terms with the case officer if you knew it was your birthday.
No. No, it's because I said I'm not here. I'm not looking at this on my birthday on Monday. So then I had an email back with like little popping out things. Oh, for happy birthday for yesterday.
I'm afraid I missed all of this. Right, okay. So application 8 PA 25/02143, householder 5 Godolphin Way. That one?
Yes, so I'm doing this one. Yeah, so it's side extensions to the rear and internal alterations, and the conservatory roof is being redone, which is already. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So I went to Duchy Nursery for my birthday to feed my plant habit.
Just for a change.
Yeah. But very nice lunch there. Other garden centres are available.
South West Water's making its usual comment.
Oh, is it for that? It wasn't there when I looked at this. Is it saying it's got no?
It's go away.
Right. Okay. So. Brilliant. So this is 5 Godolphin Way. So if you're turning off Henver Road, it's a couple of doors down on the right-hand side. Just looking at the side there. So that gives you where the extension is going to be at the back. So this is the front. Front view is not really going to be changing. So if we have a look at the existing floor plan, please, Duncan. Go down. So a bit like the one we had earlier. So this is the conservatory at the back, which is already there, and it's it's a flat roof conservatory. You'll see it at the moment, a photograph of it. So they're making it more insulated and just improving the quality of the conservatory. And again, I think we're doing stuff in here behind the garage. So if we have a look at the design statement, I think that's probably easiest. So that's it at the front, the street view. That's not changing. And if we go down to page 2, the next page for the rear view. So this is the garden, this is the conservatory, how it looks at the moment, and they're going to be effectively re-roofing the conservatory in here. I'm almost sort of surprised that they needed planning for this. The chimney is going to be removed. There's a chimney in here that's going to be going. And if we go down to page 4, we can see the changes for the rear view. Yeah. So there's going to be a little bit of infilling as well at the back.
It's going to be green.
So, yeah, and they're covering it. This is in green tiles. I thought that it was just like, oh, that's just indicating the cladding. But no, they're covering it in green tiles. Each to their own. Nobody's going to be seeing this. So we don't know. It's not being judged on this. Yeah. So yeah, chimney going, redoing the roof, and putting sort of like a little extension here, and putting a door where there was the window before. They're just putting a little extension there.
Why have they got this rock picture?
Rock.
Oh, it's to give it's inspiration for the colour of the building. It's like a mood board thing. That's why I wasn't going to talk about that. If the page 2, I think.
Reference green using garden and wider landscape.
Page 2, keep going down.
Keep going. Keep going down.
Not major. Oh, perhaps it's further on. It just gives examples of where else that they've. Keep going. Yeah, keep going down. There we go. It's an inspiration for the colours of the landscape for it.
Yeah.
There's
a bit of black in there, a bit of yellow. Okay, are you going to make a proposal?
So I'm going to propose no objection in terms.
Why?
I don't know. It's just the green tiles. Can we have some solar panels on it, please, and all the G2 stuff?
Okay, so it's going to be
Yeah,
subject to
yeah, so support and, yeah,
Are you supporting?
yeah,
support, although we
yeah.
have some
I
doubts about
propose
the
a
green
proposal.
tiles.
I will second on the condition that we can make a positive comment about the wonderful taste of green tiles. We were particularly, Councillor was particularly.
I think we can say the green tiles are interesting.
Yeah.
The rock's nice. Right, show of hands for support on that basis. Thank you very much. Does anybody want a break?
That's our planning applications done.
Signs don't appear to have changed on the car parks that they have given to Cormac. There is a pink sign saying that they are no longer part of the order, the parking order. Does that mean they are currently free? I mean, if it's not part of the order, are they able to charge?
Who knows?
I don't know.
Can we ask? I mean, Cormac should have gone round, because I know they've been assigned to Cormac now. Cormac should have gone round and put new signs up.
They've definitely done something out here and in St George or something.
Yes, but they've taken the,
Yeah,
they've taken.
They've got a new payment thing you pay on entry now. On
We
those
needed
two.
to pay and display.
You pay on entry?
Pay and display.
So you park your car, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You go and pay.
Yeah, yeah,
And you
pay.
guess how long you're going to stay.
Yeah, it's
What
such
a
backward
retrograde step.
It is such a backward step.
But the ones I'm talking about are the ones that are supposed to be going Belmont, Tregonwell. I'm just interested that they haven't changed the signs. Or do we just let sleeping dogs lie? But I'm wondering whether they actually can charge if they're not got new signs up. Maybe they have by now. They didn't yesterday. No one's terribly keen on that. Okay, I just thought that raise that as an issue. All right, financial statement. Have we spent any money?
No purchases have been made, no payments to authorise.
Do we have any other correspondence?
No, there's nothing other than what you've already seen this
Do
evening.
we have any items for information and discussion? Anybody want to talk about something for 10 minutes?
Just asking, did we?
Yes, she does. That's-
Sorry, I didn't understand.
In fact, so hang on a minute. I think Sarah first wanted to talk about something. Then we'll go to yours. Sarah, what do you want to talk about?
When you did a freedom of information thing for car parking, did we get a response
Oh,
back
yeah.
for that?
Right, no, I've not had anything other than the acknowledgement for that.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Sorry, you said other correspondence, didn't you?
Yes.
So I do apologise. So we've had the appeal decision for Power Park Business Village.
It is an interesting read.
And then we've also got notification of an appeal, and that's Paradise Cove, and that
Oh, that is
is
important, actually.
yeah.
On the agenda, 14.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, they are. Sorry, I
We
was
sort of jumped past
I was
it. It was so
thinking that I'd
exciting,
put them
we
somewhere
finished.
else, but they're
I
both
mean,
under other correspondence.
You've issued, you've reminded us what we said last time.
Yes.
I think we should be sending, certainly I think, illustrations of, because the report, I haven't actually read their comments yet. I think they're saying, according to newspapers, they're saying you didn't understand what we were saying. But they based their comments on the situation in, was it June? No, October. So I think we should be, personally, I want to send them the video of that cliff collapsing, because I think the inspector will enjoy that. I think with the permission of the Save Whipsnade Cliffs, I think we should send the link that shows the drone photographs of what it looks like now. I'm also going to dig out my photographs because I think we need a comparison of what it looked like in October, what it looked like in January, because they were saying that the apron was going to support it, and the apron was nearly washed away. And then we can have another picture of what actually happened. And the fall we had just had was not where everybody expected it to come from. They all expected it to come from the crack, and it actually came sort of from a completely different part of the cliff. So I'm happy to send you those photographs, Duncan. And I can send you the links for the, see that has, I think that has changed now, that one there. Yeah. It's got nearer to the crack. Yeah. So I've got a comparison of those two, so I can send you that. I think that was the one that was taken by Cornwall Council. I mean, there is no, these photographs are now out of date. Yeah. So is everybody happy if, and I don't think there's anything else we need to say apart from the illustrations. I mean,
Are you happy with, do you mind just summarising again what we're supposed to be happy with?
I thought I haven't actually read what the appeal says yet, so I don't know if we need to make, what date do we have to get anything back by, Duncan?
The 17th of April.
Oh, we've got plenty of time in that case. If everybody wants to have a look at what they're actually saying in the appeal, but...
And so,
I mean,
sorry, what are you
ridiculous.
asking us if we're happy with? Are we happy with?
Well, basically, is there anything you want to add to our comments? Have we got a meeting before the 17th?
We've got a meeting on the 16th.
Ah, in which case, I think if anybody could provide any comments to Duncan, or any photographs or any links, and if Duncan, if you wouldn't mind having something to present to us on the 16th, we can still then submit on the 17th, can we? Or,
I mean, we've got the Coastal Protection Authority, which are strongly objecting.
it seems insane. It seems
Already.
utterly insane.
The Cornwall Wildlife Trust is objecting. The Marine Management just seems to be giving a breakdown of what they do.
The one thing I would,
they don't say anything.
the one thing I would change is the bit where you tactfully say that nobody can say what the cause was. I think we can now add that the Marine Management Organisation have identified that the when they turned down the licence, it's their quote, isn't it? We cannot say that what they did wasn't the cause of the. Or I think we can use that quote. I'll dig it out because it's a wonderful quote. They're still not saying they did it, but they're basically saying we can't be certain that they didn't do it. So we can add that to our tactful commentary, which we're trying to avoid. So if anybody has got any, have a read, and I will have a read because I haven't had a read of it yet, just to see what they're saying. But it seems ludicrous that I can't imagine what they're appealing on.
And so,
I mean, the Coast Protection Authority is really damning, really, as to what they say. On here, it's our opinion that the understanding of the geology of the cliff, the stability in the proposed defence are still not sufficient to demonstrate the development will be safe and sustained across the course of its design life. And it goes on from there, that they don't have an understanding of the geology. It reiterates that the assumption that the caves are now covered. Well, the caves are still there. They're still talking about the caves.
We almost got to the point where we were going to be able to tell whether the caves were there or not.
Yeah.
They're
Still there.
We had the fall.
Yeah, but they're still there.
I think they're still there.
The collapse is not, the caves haven't collapsed, it's the rockfall above it. So, and yeah, it's all pretty damning.
From the evidence presented to date,
I'll have another
given
look
the
through it.
findings of the AGS report regarding the geology of the cliff in general, at the moment in time it's extremely difficult to envisage a scenario where this section of coast can be sufficiently stabilised to ensure the development is safe and secure because of the design life.
Yeah. I mean, it's really, it's
These are the
quite
older
damning.
pictures you're looking at now.
Yeah.
These are completely different now.
Is the fall now into the red lines?
Oh God, it went over that ages ago. One of the first falls took it over the 100 years.
No, well, I'm talking about not necessarily...
Oh, you mean the red line of the... Yeah, oh yes. It no longer resembles the...
And it can't meet its discharge of water dealing with roof runoff on site. So, you know, without being able to do that, it just can't do it, because you can't suddenly add a load of water onto the weight, let alone the buildings and digging out foundations.
South West Water won't let them put the water into, because they were going to run the drains down the road. But South West Water will not let them put new water into the drains, so it's...
To be clear, this was an application to, the original application was to discharge a condition to do with stability of the cliffs. So we weren't consulted on that because we aren't usually consulted on the discharge of conditions, but we felt strongly enough to comment on it. Obviously that does, it does take quite a technical view of the cliffs. But I think that we did quite, we provided some useful images, and I think that the idea of the collapse and the drone footage is really good. It's difficult for us to talk very technically about the geology, but I think that the idea of the drone footage, if you can provide...
I can, I've got one, I go up there every month and take a picture, so effectively from this side, it was really quite startling how the apron had been swept away, and then it came back again. A month later it came back.
Councillor Kenny and Duncan, can I just clarify, I understand you're asking us if you can use these photos to update our submission on the Whipsbury case, and will you be running that by us in an email?
I was going to circulate, if I
Right.
get my photos, I will circulate them to everybody.
Right,
And I would suggest
but then that...
Have you seen the zone footage of any of those links? I'll circulate them to all of us.
I'm just more curious.
Amazing.
Sorry, you're saying that the footage then will go in a letter from us? Is
Yes.
that? Yes.
Yeah, we can
And-
actually submit the pictures.
Yes.
We can certainly submit the link to the
Thank you.
to the drone footage
And
and
could-
saying, just take it, because I mean the crack that goes up and down.
My request is just that we could please be CC'd on the submission of the letter.
Yes,
So
yes.
that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Well, but basically we'll make the decision on the 16th.
When you say we, you mean...
This committee.
Yeah.
This committee will make the decision on the 16th as to what we're going to be saying. If Duncan, you're happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we have to say anything technical. We just have to say, take a look. Okay, was there anything else we jumped over in 14?
No.
Right. Katie, you wanted to say something after I dropped over. Chair hands right.
Thank you.
You
Right.
wanted to say something?
On the, it's just a process clarification, I guess. One of the 5-day protocols, it said, the officer is seeking amended drawings, but we have to respond before Friday. And yet if they got the amended drawings, then the current 5-day protocol would be withdrawn. So I just feel in a bit of a pickle almost. I don't really want to...
Can I talk to you about it, because it's not on the agenda? Can I talk to you at the end of the meeting
Okay.
about that one,
Sure.
just to sort of be
Got
certain
it.
about
No, that's fine. Yeah,
what's
thank
being
you.
asked of you?
So that's
You have seen that. You have seen that one. That was sent out earlier.
no.
But it's not one that a decision has been made on, and it's one that needs a really quick turnaround.
You're so keen. So we've only got 15 minutes left. What about it?
I think it's important to note that premises that had during COVID, that they could sell alcohol externally, can't do that anymore. They're going to have to reapply and get a license for that. So it's just making that as a public declaration for all those people, that eager beavers that watch the planning meeting online.
But some of them permission to, since the New Inn, for example, got permission to put table and chairs outside. Are you saying that that's now got to...
No, it's that they... Licensing.
Ah.
Any establishment that has that in there needs to apply for that if they want to continue to have that. If not, they haven't got it.
If you were a restaurant and you had on sales only, because during the pandemic people couldn't necessarily come into your premises, they allowed a temporary off sales.
Yeah.
So that, for instance, you could have it delivered to your door, perhaps, or something like that. But that temporary loosening of permission is, Oh yeah, it has gone, hasn't it? 31st of March it ended, yeah.
Thing is the weekly list of decisions. They've withdrawn 57 Trenbath Crescent. Do we have a problem with that? Normally, when they withdraw things, it's because they don't think they're going to pass.
We haven't seen that.
Haven't we?
I think that you have seen Trenbath, but I don't think that you had a
They had a balcony put on, didn't they?
I don't think that you had an issue with it. I think you
Yeah,
might have done
obviously
no
we-
objection. I don't think it was one that we did in a meeting that I was at.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that you may have, I think that you had a couple of things to say about it, but you
Withdrawn?
hadn't objected to it,
No.
but the officer was
That's
obviously
strange.
unhappy.
Yeah, obviously they've withdrawn it. Oh, and we were going to have 2 additional child friendly. Oh yes, that one was the castle, wasn't it? Okay. Can I now close the meeting?
Yeah.
Thank everyone.